We're on page 1180. The next morning, Baba gathered the mandali at about 8 o'clock. Oh, wait, let me finish that. In Agra, they stayed in the Empress Hotel in the cantonment area, and Baba remarked that they would stay in Agra for only one day. The next morning, Baba gathered the mandali at about 8 o'clock. He questioned Chhagan about his sour disposition, which he had been gloomy since the previous day. Baba then stated, "This frequent losing of temper and being out of mood is of no use, particularly in the company of your master, whose will, wish, and word must be your law. Hafiz says, 'I cherish my enemies and allow my friends to perish. But no one can dare to question the wisdom of my wish.'"
But look how Bob's like on the same footing as Chhagan. You know what I mean? He's saying, well, what's the problem here?
Exactly.
Why are you always out of... Baba's not saying, look up. You know
exactly, I'm the man, you gotta do it. No, he's real.
Yeah.
So Baba said,
read it again though, because it's so beautiful that couplet, bro.
"I cherish my enemies and allow my friends to perish."
Isn't that amazing?
It does, it's common. It's what it is, it's human nature. We tend to do that. Like, you see families argue and jump all over each other's throats, but yet some stranger comes in, or some neighbor who's a real nuisance. You get along with him. Yeah, you treat him better than your own family. And this guy could care less whether you breathe, eat, or live or sleep. But that seems like, I don't know what it is, it's human nature. People.
But then Chhagan is that way toward Baba, or toward all of the disciples around Baba.
Exactly. See, that's what he's saying. In other words, some stranger could walk up to you, and you go, be nice to him. And here you are, we're traveling with you. You're one of our companions, and you're acting mean and nude. Yeah. Well, I see it all the time. I do it with Gigi sometimes. We're driving in the car, and I guess familiarity breeds contempt. You're familiar with somebody's nature, and so instead of being, kind, you go, why do you do this? I want to do that.
I was like that with my sister. A little bit rough, helping my sister in the Bay Area move. When you're family, you know each other so well that you
Exactly. That's really nice.
Yeah.
It's almost like you could put that on the back of a card.
That's how it is.
"I cherish my enemies and allow my friends to perish. But no one can dare to question the wisdom of my wish." In other words, no one can dare to question the wisdom of my wish. It's like, if you question somebody, "Why are you doing this?" It's my wish. It's my wish.
Yeah.
Well, like domestic disputes. When I lived in New York, this couple was going crazy. The guy was lighting his house on fire. He turned on all the gas burners, wouldn't light a match to blow the house up. They were arguing. So I called the police. Police came over and they said, "We're not going in there." I said, "You're not going in there?" He says, "Until he blows the house up, we can't do a thing. That's his house." I said, "But he's abusing her." He says, "Well, that's their thing." Isn't that funny how, you know what happened to? You know what happened to? He was taken away, and then they asked her, "You want to press charges?" She refused.
Yeah, that's it.
She refused.
So the cops know.
So you end up, in fact, they say sometimes a poor cop gets in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So Baba says, "So whenever I tell you to do a thing, never question why. Only say, 'Yes, Master,' not merely outwardly, but inwardly from the bottom of your heart, and act accordingly. This is your real service to me, your Master, even if you know or pursue absolutely nothing of the path, meditation, and spiritual things. Only this service to your Master enables you to enter the path, and it is superior to all other devotional and yogic practices. The discipline Kalyan knew absolutely nothing about except literal obedience to every word of his master Ramdas. Kalyan received his reward in due time, and so will you. I would rather have all of you make every effort to keep me always pleased, but here, on the contrary, I have to humiliate myself to ask you to each and every time when one of you is out of sorts, whether he is all right or not. I have to humor and pacify him, praise, flatter, and tickle him under the chin to bring him around. That is not good for you or befitting. Can you not do only this much for me? Just listen to my word and obey. Be a man if you keep a mustache. Otherwise, shave off that symbol of manliness and become like a woman, you coward. Wow. Wow. That is really a strong blow. I mean, it's like, because a lot of Indians wear mustache. And he says, what are you hiding behind the mustache? Better shave it off. Be a woman like you are.
But they're beautiful. I mean, the way Baba just...
What?
Hiding behind a mustache.
Hiding behind a mustache, yeah.
No, but it's like a symbol of manhood.
Oh, it's a symbol of manhood.
Yeah.
And you see most Indian depictions in the time of Krishna, like the guys with the mustache and sort of,
It's interesting. Baba this time chose family.
I know, Baba has one.
So he keeps up with
Actually, that's something, I look at Baba now. When was he without a mustache?
He never was. I mean, when he was young.
That's right. That's
the moment it grew.
Yeah.
He had a beard.
Wow.
Remember, he had that beard for a while when he was there.
That's funny, though. That's true, though. Baba has a mustache.
But Baba didn't like beards,
No, he didn't.
No. But he kept the mustache.
He did not like it?
No.
He didn't like beards, but he kept his mustache.
He didn't like beard.
No.
Beards. Further addressing Chhagan, Baba spelled out, take a drum and go to the bazaar and beat it like the eunuch that you are. No, the eunuch. The eunuch that you are. Dude, Chhagan. Take a drum and go to the bazaar and beat it like the eunuch that you are. Wow. I mean, that is heavy duty. Don't be a child crying for paltry things. Are you a 6-foot-tall baby or a full-grown man?
Whoa.
Be a man. Don't stick to petty things. Wow. Don't get upset over trivialities. Wow.
This is a dressing down. Remember there was one, huh?
Wow, that's something. I like to remember that. Well, take a drum and go to the bazaar and beat it like the eunuch that you are.
And think about the moustache,
Wow.
It'd be a woman.
Yeah, shave off the symbol of manliness.
Yes.
Even supposing you do have an excuse or a cause for provocation, and your mood is upset in the excitement of the moment, don't stick to that one petty cause and keep on brooding over it with swollen cheeks and a cloudy expression. Immediately after the excitement dies down, try to cool off and forget what happened. Take the cause of irritation out of your mind forever. Don't try to bring it back again and again to memory, harboring it and crying over it like a woman or a child. Immediately after you are angry, forget everything. Still, if you don't do it, what do I care and why should I? You are all well aware of my love for the ashram boys and the close connection I have kept with them for the last 2 years, avoiding one and all of you mandali and the outside world. But when the time came, I gave them up too, my most loving sons. I have also kept away from those who are devoted to me. In short, I cut off my connection even with those I loved. At any moment, I can also disconnect with the rest of you who are with me now. Even at present, I have very little connection with you, being preoccupied with the 2 boys all day and night, playing with and teasing them. I come to your quarters only occasionally, once or twice during the day, and when the time comes, as it will, I shall cut off my connection with these 2 boys also, remaining quite alone by myself. Gradually, I have been cutting off all ties and connections. Likewise, mark my mode and taste for dressing. I wore the black comely coat with 100 patches for years. I also wore the chappals until the last moment when their original material had been totally replaced. And now you see that I have had a new coat sewn and wear it with new shoes and stockings, keeping myself well dressed and neat, quite the reverse of what I had been doing. And who knows, perhaps I may one day give up all these clothes and remain only in the LANGOTI, or even stark naked. No one can tell. Sadhus and Kitubs, even though realized, have their own ways of living and working. Hazrat Babajan prefers to be well covered in a long robe, even putting rings around her fingers. Narayan Maharaj lives in befitting royal fashion like a king. Upasni Maharaj, however, remains naked except for a gunny sack wrapped around his waist. So each one maintains some definite mode for a long time. My style is quite different. I often change my food and attire, and there are reasons behind it. Even this external mode of living has connection with my inner working for the world. Elaborating further, Baba explained, a Sadguru never sleeps in the ordinary sense of the word, but rests at a resting place between the 6th and 7th planes. Even though people may find him snoring, he is not asleep. It is next to impossible to come down from that state. The Sadguru alone can manage it, no one else can. That is the reason almost all masters select a quiet, separate, and aloof place for resting, which you call sleeping, where they will not be disturbed. For I know a kick from a master during his rest to one who disturbs him could be fatal. The person could be killed. But apart from the different places of resting, the perfect master's modes of resting also differ. All Sadgurus do not act alike. Sai Baba would rest on a hanging platform high above the floor to avoid disturbance by anyone. While resting, Hazrat Babajan and Upasni Maharaj would rise suddenly at even the slightest touch of a finger. Hence, they all rest at different solitary places to their liking in different ways. I am the same, avoiding the slightest cause of disturbance. Therefore, I advise you never to touch a perfect master when he or she is resting. I may and do tolerate disturbances occasionally, but other masters may not, and generally do not. And their one kick in that state could end your life. Pick it up there, Baba.
So you don't want to read, Larry? You're a teacher, you're probably a good reader. You guys on break this week? Baba then consoled Chhagan by remarking, because you get tired, your mood is spoiled. Wherever we halt in the course of our journey, you have to cook. And when the others are out on a walk or sightseeing, you cannot go because you are burdened with the duty of preparing our meals. But what can I do? It is your fate. How lucky you are to cook the food which I eat. And besides, I like the food you prepare. Baba then led Chhagan and the mandali to see the Agra fort and the Taj Mahal. Wow. In the evening he went for a walk with the two boys in Rao Sahib. Kaka Shahan had been instructed to meet the group in Agra, and he arrived that day and began accompanying them on the journey. The group left Agra for Delhi on July 22nd. That's it for they don't say anything about the visit to the Taj Mahal. Apparently Baba liked the fort more than the Taj Mahal.
Really? The Red Fort?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
I didn't know.
Well, I don't know. Someone said.
Good. Let me get some water.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I heard that, but Baba went to the Taj several times, you know.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
maybe because of the symbol, I think. Or because other people loved it. Not because
Well,
he liked it.
It's,
He did strange things like that. You know, I mean, he'd go someplace because people were there.
yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
movies and things. Maybe. I don't know.
You went there when? You went to Delhi before you knew Baba? Or-
Yeah. What? It was 72.
Yeah.
72.
You went
yeah.
to India and you went to Delhi and then you
Yeah.
decided.
Yeah, I was just passing through. I was on my way to Libya.
Oh, huh. So
Yeah,
you
to teach.
You didn't.
Wire company school. But I didn't know about Baba then.
Right. But you didn't go. I mean, you just went for a sort of a day visit, sort of thing, or
No,
a couple
I was
hours.
there for a couple days.
So did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. Oh, I loved it. Yeah, it was beautiful.
No, I agree. Freddie, you've been more than once to the Taj. Or just once?
Twice.
Twice.
I went once in my first trip to India.
Yeah.
The second trip, and then I went with Gigi.
With Gigi, yeah. The group left Agra for Delhi on July 22nd. They drove toward the telegraph office first, but Padre missed the turn-off and took them 10 miles out of the way. As a normal route, travelers proceed from Agra to Delhi through Mathura. But Baba, for his own reasons, preferred going via Aligarh. The road was a muddy mess for the first 10 miles due to the heavy rains, so it took them more than an hour to cover the distance. At the village of Hathras, Baba ate lunch alone, stopping near Aligarh. Baba was in an aloof mood and sat under a tree alone. He directed the mandali to have their meal. While they were eating, Baba noticed Vishnu sitting with his shirt off. Baba asked him, "A cool breeze is blowing. Why are you eating without your shirt?" "You know it is the custom among Brahmins to take their shirt off during meals," Vishnu replied. This upset Baba and he snapped, "If you catch a cold or a cough, you will forget your custom soon enough. But if you consider your custom to be more important than my pleasure, there is no use in your remaining with me." Vishnu replied, "I don't believe in any custom, but it has become a habit. If it upsets you, I am prepared to stop it now." So Vishnu started to put on his shirt, which pleased Baba. It was like this egalitarianism, in a way, While holding food in one hand, Vishnu slipped on his shirt so hastily that the food spilled on his clothes, which is, I guess, why he was doing it in the first place. The other men burst out laughing. "Farewell from today to an age-old custom and habit since birth," laughed Vishnu. Wow. Wow, that's great. So he just let it go. After lunch, they started for Aligarh. But after proceeding 10 miles, Baba signaled the bus to halt. Accompanied by Rao Sahib and the two boys, Baba walked for a little while along the road. They reached Delhi at 9 that night and checked into the Raj Mahal Hotel. From 8 till noon the next morning, July 23rd, Baba set out with the mandali on a sightseeing trip through Old and New Delhi, then to the Qutub Minar, the Red Fort, and other places of interest. Baba's mail had been forwarded to Delhi and it was brought from the post office. After Baba replied to the letters, he sent Chhagan to Pandharpur with Kaka Chauhan, instructing Chhagan to remain there and fast for 7 days. Leaving Delhi on July 24th, the group arrived in Ludhiana at night after covering 191 miles in 8 hours. That's pretty slow, I guess. Right? I don't know. I guess in those days you felt
That's very slow. 191 miles, you can almost do it in 3 hours.
Yeah.
Less.
Yeah, less than 3 hours. But anyway, but in those days you didn't go as fast. Baba cryptically remarked to the mandali, "The one on duty here is blind." In Chhagan's absence, Padre cooked the meals and the other mandali helped. The following morning they left on the way to Lahore, reaching Amritsar at 11 o'clock. Amritsar is mostly populated by Sikhs and is considered a place of pilgrimage. Right? Isn't the Golden Temple? Yep. Yeah.
That's where it is. They have
The Golden, it says so here.
Stuff.
Yeah, it says so. The Golden Temple is the main center of pilgrimage for the Sikhs.
It's built out of solid gold.
That's what it says here. And Baba viewed the gold-plated temple from a distance outside in the large compound, but did not enter the shrine. That's interesting that Baba didn't. But wow, it's gold-plated, the whole, not the whole temple.
Yeah, the whole thing, it just shimmers.
Unbelievable. Have you seen it?
I've seen pictures. I was going to visit it, but they recommended tourists don't go up there.
Because the Sikhs.
Violence.
Yeah.
It was Hindu, Muslim, Moors, or...
Yes. I had no idea that it was all gold.
Oh, it's Sikhs or Hindus, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Sort of a more modern branch. You know that. They
Yeah.
became like the warrior caste in a way.
The warrior caste, and they're very good at business.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Sikhs
Yeah.
run businesses in
Well,
India. Here too.
they're hard
Yeah,
workers.
yeah.
They call them the Kshatriyas, the warriors.
Yeah, but they're very, very hard workers. That's the thing. They'll work night and day. You know what I mean? They're very
Yeah,
industrious.
a lot of them will drive taxis, that have a second job.
Yes,
and they come
yes.
here,
Just
they also...
work, just work and work and work.
Like
you
this
know.
one Sikh that I saw in Beverly Hills, he's got a 5,000 square foot home that he built.
Wow.
Contractor.
Wow.
He's got a living room with a ceiling that's equivalent to a 3-story ceiling. In other words, he likes this effect like
Yeah.
being in an Indian Taj or something.
Wow.
They left Amritsar and reached Lahore at 6 that night, staying in a hotel. There was a ban on bus traffic within the city, so they had to walk 7 miles to find a place to eat. Can you believe that? Padri had not cooked that day since he was too busy cleaning the bus with Vishnu. On July 26th, they moved to the Empress Hotel in Lahore. This was the first occasion during the journey they stayed in a decent hotel and were comfortable. So the Empress is probably not, it may probably is better now, but it's an old hotel.
But
I
it
know.
was a chain, though. It looks like it's maybe a chain from the British time.
But yeah, probably, yeah.
Because the Empress is named
Now
after.
it's in Lahore, yeah.
Yes. Baba remarked, today Amiri, tomorrow Fakiri, which means today a rich man, tomorrow a poor man as a fakir.
Baba
Yeah.
would make these rhymes.
Yeah.
The thing is, Lahore now, isn't that part of Pakistan?
Yeah, isn't
Yeah, I think Lahore was part of India
Yeah.
in the early days before it was annexed.
Pakistan, yeah. Well, actually, it was sort of divided. It was for the Muslims, you know that. I mean, that's really what was happening. Why they made a Pakistan.
Yeah.
And then what was Bengal then, for another faction?
That was for the, that's predominantly Hindu.
Bangladesh. I mean.
Yeah, that's predominantly Hindu. It was so interesting, you know.
So maybe that's why the Hindus fought for their state, because they felt the Muslims got Pakistan. So they wanted their own state, the royal Muslims.
Yes.
So Muslims then probably don't come into Bangladesh much, do they?
But no. Well, that's the problem. There was this war. I mean, massacre going on. You know.
Oh yeah, terrible.
And Muslim-Hindu wars. And I was working for that cause, you know. And I found out that a lot of
Who working for who?
for a group called War on Want, which meant that we were sending medical supplies, clothing, food,
Oh, to both
relief.
sides.
It was a relief.
Just trying to help
Like
both
Well, we
sides.
just
You
whoever
weren't
was
picking sides.
no, we were just helping.
You it was just a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah, mostly the Hindus though were the ones that were. And Bangladesh is always it is horrendous. The monsoons or people,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
those
very
everything.
poverty.
Yeah, but what was happening though? A lot of people were becoming Buddhist because there's no discrimination against Buddhists. If you're Buddhist, you're also non-violent, so there is no.
Wow, except down in Sri Lanka, isn't it? But that's between the who's that? No,
Yes, that's the Tamils.
Sri Lanka.
The Tamils.
Against.
I
Oh,
forget.
it's not.
It's not Buddhist.
Oh,
Buddhist.
it's a race
They
thing.
are.
Right.
It's a race thing in Sri Lanka. It's not a religious
It's not
thing.
a religious thing.
But Buddhists have always stayed on the neutral ground.
Well, Buddhism is non-violent.
Ah.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. Well, I know they say that there's 12, what is the wheel, the Eightfold Path?
Yes.
One of them is violence,
Non-violent.
non-violence.
Yeah. But this is how the martial arts came about. Because when the monks were taking the message of Buddha to the Far East, they would be attacked by robbers and bandits. So they had to find a way to protect themselves without hurting their attackers, which is how the martial arts developed.
Oh, I see.
So they would not hurt or harm them. They just would take
They
that
would
energy
throw-
and just
like Aikido, would just
Aikido,
toss
yeah,
them,
exactly. You just take the energy and just
toss them on the ground.
yeah. So But it sort of it's become more and
They
more.
also said a lot of martial arts they're studying the animals. They'd study a deer, how the deer would spring,
Right.
how it would move, and these sages would study them and they would try to imitate them.
Right.
And that's why a lot of
How
moves.
interesting.
It's sort of how they would defend themselves.
Yeah.
How they would sort of avoid.
And they say how the animal avoids humans. They jump up and
Yeah. But anyway, that's how the martial arts is.
Wow.
They couldn't hurt
How interesting.
anybody. You didn't know that?
that is really good though.
Yeah, I was a Buddhist, so.
Oh, you were Buddhist?
Yeah, I was a Buddhist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I left Catholicism, I was searching.
So you went from
Like
Catholicism
me.
to Buddhism.
Actually, I read a bunch of other stuff. I read the
So-
Quran. I read all about
Were you in
Sufism.
the
I did the.
young Mung Ho Ring
I was
Cho?
young. I was maybe 17 when I
You were in
began.
young Mung Ho Ring Cho?
No. This is none of that. This
None of
was
the chanting.
none of the chanting. We did a meditation called Vipassana, which was called bare awareness or insight meditation, which is what the Buddha taught.
So I didn't know you were a Buddhist.
Oh man, major Buddhist.
Wow.
I wanted to become a
I know your
monk.
brother,
Julian.
is Buddhist.
I don't
Well, he
know.
claimed to be, but
Well, he probably. I don't know. You've seen him more recently than I have. I haven't seen him. I think the last time I saw him was in
is he
'72.
in India?
He was in Delhi the same time I was in Delhi.
Oh, you missed him. His
And
brother.
you guys
And we didn't
Oh,
know.
brother.
We didn't know.
Wow.
He didn't know I
They
was
didn't know they were there. It just happened to be by chance.
right. Because when I flew into Hong Kong, Julian called Greg. Okay, I have one brother in Hong, and Greg said, "Where are you calling from?" He said, "I'm calling from Delhi." He says, "You know who just arrived from Delhi?"
Small
So
world.
yeah.
But you didn't have your cell phone with you.
No,
That's good. You didn't have a cell site.
no, they do have cell phones in India.
I know a lot of them have them.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
And well, you ever go to like Hong Kong? Everyone's got one.
Oh, Greg has the tiny little. They have these tiny little
Oh, do
ones
they?
that are really powerful. He uses it on the subway. He's traveling on. I'll call him and he say, "Where are you, Greg?" "Oh, I'm traveling on the subway," and you just get this clear signal.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They're underground, traveling at 80 miles an hour. So here we go. Then he stated to the mandali, "You must learn to accept every type of life and have equipoise in all situations and circumstances. Every situation is, after all, a temporary situation and liable to change. So remain detached and not influenced by change. Be steadfast in changelessness." That's a little heavy for me. Be steadfast in changelessness. I don't get. You get it? Be steadfast in changelessness. Anyway, Baba passed the whole day by listening to records and playing cards with the mandali. Excuse me. In the evening, he went for a stroll with Rao Sahib, Aga Ali, and Ali Akbar. On July 27th, they left Lahore for Rawalpindi, which they reached at 9 o'clock. They spent the night camped underneath a tree. This was quite the opposite of the experience they had at the day before, when they had rested in a high-class hotel. They had eaten 2 meals in the dining room and were served by waiters dressed in white jackets. But this night they were sleeping on the ground in the open. Keeping aloof, Baba slept in the bus alone. Leaving Rawalpindi on July 28th, they arrived at the Kohala Tak bungalow in the evening. It was a continuous ascent to Kohala through the foothills of the Himalayas, so driving was slow and difficult. The bus had gotten stuck and had to be pushed several times. By the time they arrived, the men were exhausted. They left Kohala early the next morning. On the banks of the Jhelum River, they came across a wonderful-looking old man who appeared to be a beggar, but whose face was exceptionally bright. The old man quietly paid obeisance to Baba, then went away without saying a word or asking for anything. After traveling some distance, Baba signaled for his sliding window in the cabin to halt. Wait a sec. After traveling some distance, Baba signaled from his sliding window in the cabin to halt the bus on the bridge. And here they're going to say something, page 1185. 1185. On the bus, there was a sliding window between Baba's cabin and the driver's seat for Baba to instruct Padri. Did you know that Baba, Freddie, did you come across that earlier? Well, that Baba's cabin was separate on the bus, that he was isolated from them. And Padri was the driver. Anyway, Baba got down and taking off his coat, he viewed the surrounding mountains and valleys, remarking, "This place is splendid. Here blows the breeze of the path." He went to the river and putting his hands in the flowing waters, drank a few mouthfuls. Wow. Baba then stated, "If I fail to find a suitable spot for seclusion in Kashmir, I will return here to a mountain and stay in an improvised hut while the mandali remain below at a house in the valley." They reached Uri at 6 in the evening. Although it was quite cold, Baba did not wear his coat the entire day. He cooked dal and personally served it to each one of the group. While on tour, Meher Baba usually remained incognito, but in Uri his name was entered in the Dak Bangalo's register, and the master's name was allowed to be mentioned for the first time. Shall I keep going, Freddie? They left Uri at 7:30 on the morning of July 30th. But after going some distance, Baba directed Padri to turn around. Back in Uri, Baba found a blind boy and kindly handed him a cotton scarf. The blind boy was worshipped by the local people, who believed him to be an advanced soul. They then left Uri and reached the city of Srinagar in Kashmir at 20 minutes past noon. They lodged in houseboats. Freddie, you were here. And you were on a houseboat.
I was in a houseboat called, it was called the Chicago.
Good Indian name. They lodged in houseboats on the lake near the city. The story behind their accommodations is noteworthy. The night before Baba arrived in Srinagar, the 4-year-old son of Sultana, the owner of the houseboats, saw the master in a dream. The boy heard Baba speak to him, "I am God, and tomorrow I am coming to stay in your town." The next morning, the boy excitedly narrated this dream to his mother, but she only smiled kindly. When Baba reached the lake area of Srinagar, the boy saw him from a distance and pointing to him shouted, "This is the same God I dreamed of last night."
Oh my. What
Baba,
a beautiful sight. I could see almost a painting.
Little kid, yeah.
Painting of,
Yeah, that would be a great painting, yeah. Baba stopped by Sultana's boat, and the boy's mother informed him of her son's dream. So Baba stayed in their houseboat, and the mandali in another nearby. The news soon spread, and all the boatmen gathered to meet Baba. They prayed to him to set foot in their houseboats. So that day, Baba visited many boats and sat for some time in the houseboat of their leader, Karim. At night, the boatmen returned and sat around Baba. Musical records were played, and the 4-year-old boy gave a dance performance. All the Kashmiris were joyous to be in the master's company. This is a special time.
wow.
Visit to Kashmir.
And I was on those boats.
Yeah, but I mean that Baba had visited. I mean, but look
I
at his
met
generosity.
some of the relatives that
Yes.
they were Muslim men that
Yes.
owned this boat. Maybe this was their relatives.
We should find the Sultana.
Yeah.
We should find the
I would
Sultana.
love to find that.
Should find the Sultana.
Because Srinagar's opened up again for tourists again because it was closed because of battles. Well, Hindu Muslim
The
orgy.
Sultana houseboat. If I'm up there, I'll try to find the
The thing
Sultana
is
houseboat.
still afloat. That's 70.
Who knows?
70, well, the way they recycle things in India,
Yeah, I wouldn't be
they're about
surprised.
70 years old.
In Srinagar. But this little kid dreamed and wow.
No,
Yeah.
What a
actually, there's
connection to Baba.
oh, jeez. Actually, there's a couple
Yeah.
nice dreams or pictures there. Him dreaming and then him seeing Baba. And then
Yeah, but then, I mean, but you could do this whole wonderful thing of Baba with all of them and
Oh, yeah.
visiting their houseboats.
yeah.
And it's just a beautiful scene here.
Wow,
You know what I mean?
I love all-
Because Baba was usually incognito.
You know
And
what's
here,
beautiful too? It's called Lake Dowels, where these
Yeah.
houseboats are moored. And the Himalayas, you can see in the distance.
All around,
And
yeah.
sometimes they reflect into the lake.
yeah,
Oh,
So
yeah.
you see the mountains
gorgeous.
reflecting into the lake. It's a very, very
Awesome.
special place.
Oh, yeah. But all the Kashmiris were joyous to be in the Master's company. On the morning of July 31st, Baba visited the boat where the mandali was staying. He became upset when he found that his breakfast had not yet been prepared. The men's mood turned sour because Baba had not told them to have his breakfast ready. Seeing their reaction, he took them to task. Learn to put up with all sorts of difficulties, and don't expect me to pat you on the cheek and humor you all the time. If you behave like this, your staying with me will be useless. Endure these difficulties for a few days until I enter seclusion, and thereafter do as you please if you want to enjoy yourselves. Baba added in a cryptic tone, serve me now and take my darshan 1,000 times a day if you wish. Life has no real certainty. There is no knowing what may happen tomorrow. But listen to this, he said, you take my darshan 1,000 times a day if you wish. Life has no certainty. There is no knowing what may happen tomorrow. Changing the subject, Baba explained about Kashmir. In Kashmir, there is a balance between the powers of God and Maya. And that is the way it should be. Where there is the real I, God, results of actions cannot be hurt by you. But in Maya, the results of actions become binding. For example, take the confluence of the two rivers. A river is independent when it flows by itself, but where there is a junction of two rivers, it is fettered. Kashmir has a Maharaja. He is the king here. He has set down laws for the Kashmiris and they have to obey them. These laws are for the good of the common people, but for his own close ones, there is freedom from these laws. They take life easy. Similarly, in many respects, you are also free by staying with me. Wow. Afterward, Baba Sahib was sent to find a place for Baba's seclusion. Finding fault with Vishnu and Rao Sahib, Baba slapped them for eating without permission. When the situation calmed, Baba and the group sat under a tree for breakfast and tea. Then they went to the areas of Islamabad, Anantag and Achibar, where Baba Sahib had been set, and Baba selected a spot for seclusion. But as they could not get permission to stay there, they went to Pahadi Martand, a hill where Baba selected a cave. Leaving the place, they descended the valley and sat by a brook. Baba gave water from the flowing stream to the boys and mandali by cupping his hands and pouring a little of the water into their mouths. That's really beautiful. You want me to keep going, Fred?
Yeah,
Keep going. You want to stop and discuss anything? No?
this is beautiful, man.
It is, this whole episode, yeah, but just the traveling now,
Oh, and Baba just...
and but Baba pouring water into each
Oh.
person. You know. That's in the days when the water was, I don't think you can do that today, you know. The next day, August 1st, Baba went to see a cave near Lake Manspa, but he did not approve of the place. He then proceeded to Nishat and Shalimar. And though the mountains and scenery were magnificent around Dal Lake, is that the place really, Dal Lake? Baba did not like the caves there either. The following day they went to Harwan, a small village 12 miles outside of Srinagar. He liked the wonderful view of golden meadows and mountains, but expressed his dissatisfaction with the spot chosen and returned to Srinagar. The landlord of the hard-won property approached Baba soon after and expressed his desire to place his land at the master's disposal. Baba accepted his offer and ordered a hut to be constructed on a hill. Baba remarked to the mandali, "This place is very good, but I will be disturbed from morning to night if the local people find out that I am staying here. They will make pilgrimage to me here." Meanwhile, a telegram arrived from Rustam in Nasik informing Baba that Kaikhushru Masa had been kidnapped by his relatives and taken from Nasik to Bombay. The next day Baba remarked that it was a serious matter, but that no one had cause to worry about Masa. Baba distributed fruit to all, urging them, "Eat it and be free from anxiety about Masa." Baba planned to leave the houseboat and go to Hardwan the next day, August 3rd. Baba discussed with the mandali's food and living arrangements. Baba discussed what the mandali's food and living arrangements would be like while he was in seclusion. At one point, Baba cryptically remarked, "Leaving Venice tomorrow, we will go to Palestine." And there's a little note at 1188. Leaving Venice, we will go to Palestine. I guess the places must look a little, maybe, let's see. Let's see, 1188. Is it 1188? Or maybe it's 1189. Okay. This cryptic remark by Baba may be referred to his lifetime as Jesus. Baba once commented that Jesus had journeyed during his travels as far west as Venice, when it was part of the Roman Empire. St. Mark's in Venice is considered one of the 4 spiritual centers of Europe, along with Assisi. Didn't Baba go there though, St. Mark's Square?
Yeah. Remember
Along,
with all the
yes, the pigeons.
Westerners,
Yeah. Okay, so St. Mark's is one of the spiritual places, along with Assisi, and the Ligurian coast of Italy, and Avila. So Avila, Saint Teresa of Avila. Is there a saint of the Ligurian coast?
Is that Portofino?
Portofino.
Is
Portofino.
that Portofino Ligurian?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
So, boy,
Yeah, it's so special there.
Yeah.
It was special that when I found Baba had been there. It was tremendous
yeah.
because I'd been there.
I saw, you were there?
I was in Portofino.
Because I saw
loved it.
some
I didn't know
photos
why.
of somebody, and it looked so beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, I was on an island off of it.
Wow.
It's wonderful.
This is sort of amazing. Baba made this cryptic remark.
Read it again.
Okay. This cryptic remark by Baba may have referred to his lifetime as Jesus. Meher Baba once commented that Jesus had journeyed during his travels as far west as Venice, when it was part of the Roman Empire. St. Mark's in Venice is considered one of the 4 spiritual centers of Europe, along with Assisi, which is also in Italy, no? Isn't Assisi? Yeah? And the Ligurian coast of Italy and Avila in Spain, which is Saint Teresa. So, wow, so the 4 spiritual places in Europe, 3 of them are in Italy, and 1 in Spain.
How interesting.
So it's interesting, Baba said, tomorrow leaving Venice, tomorrow we will go to Palestine. The boatman's wife came for Baba's darshan and wept. Baba blessed her. Your luck has changed. To her husband Sultana, Baba presented his new black coat. Catching hold of Baba's feet, the man cried like a child. That night, the boatman's wife played the sitar to entertain Baba. Later, Baba became upset with Chanji and remarked, "Your grave will be here in Kashmir." Whoa. And it was,
Oh, really?
He died there.
Oh.
Wow, that's pretty heavy. Let's see. On August 3rd, Baba, along with the mandali, We should actually watch We Were of the Time. Is there a certain time you have to
What
get
time
home
is
with the
it?
kids? It's after 9.
No, they have no school.
Can we go to 9:30?
Let's go to
Sure.
9:30, sure.
This is so good.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite chapters so far.
Yeah,
Because Srinagar, I've been there.
yeah.
And I never followed this that much about Baba being there. I didn't know.
Yeah,
And
no.
he almost traced the steps that we took.
Yes.
I wish I'd found the spot though. I think he's going to come to that where Jesus is buried.
Yeah,
Soon, I
oh,
think
no,
he's gonna
definitely.
notify that.
Definitely.
I didn't ever found that.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So this is on August 3rd, Baba along with the mandali set out from Srinagar to Harwan at 11 in the morning. All the boatmen gathered for his darshan. Baba consoled them, have faith in God. He has his eye on everyone. He forgets no one. But you should also not forget him. Baba presented a shawl and a woolen sweater to Karim, and the man was overcome and wept. Each person asked for Baba's photographs and lockets, and those were given. The scene of Baba's departure was most touching. It seemed that Baba's love and compassion had affected every heart, for everyone was crying. Well, that's the beauty of this visit. It's how the people were really touched by his being there, and they really seemed to know who he was. You know, I mean, it's just...
I'd love to see.
Yeah.
What are some of those people's names we could trace their
beautiful scene.
relatives down?
Karim, yeah, and yeah. The 2 small houses were rented below the Harwan hill, one for the mandali and one for the boys. A hut was being erected 500 feet up the side of the hill. A hut for Baba was being erected 500 feet up the hill. Baba was to remain in the hut, and 2 of the mandali were to stay next to it. The rest of the group would be housed in the cottages below. Baba's quite a ways up from there. 500 feet up the hillside. When they arrived at Harwan, Baba climbed up the hill to inspect the work and returned after an hour. Looking down at the valley, observing the poor villages of Kashmir, Baba remarked, for years on end, these Kashmiris don't take a bath. If you people miss a bath for just 4 days, you begin complaining. The same applies to your food and clothing. It all depends on habit. You are getting used to tolerating troubles and difficulties in small matters. Baba is really breaking them, you know. Now that I am going to retire up the hill in seclusion, one trouble after another will arise, but I will deal with them. Baba then again put on his patch kamli coat, and from the mandali's cottage he climbed the hill with Rao Saheb, Chanji, Bua Saheb, Ramju, Abdullah, Agar Ali and Ali Akbar. Returning, they spent a freezing night in the cottages below. Baba gave his carpet to Agar Ali to sleep on. The next day, wait a sec here. I mean, so the Baba was affected by the cold because he seemed not to mind heat. Right, but how about the cold? I guess that's just
But he didn't like
being
the
considerate.
because he would go to Pune every summer, didn't he? He
Right.
didn't like the
But he
heat.
didn't mind it as much, I
Oh,
don't
didn't he?
think.
The cold.
No, I don't think he minded the heat. Anyway, the next day, Sunday, August 4th, in the mandali's hut, Baba asked Ramju if it was a human being or an animal. Taken aback, Ramju answered, a human being. Baba then gave his explanation about the human form and its attributes. This is Baba. The human form is the last form in evolution, and it is the highest. Although it is the last and highest form in creation, it is still full of animal desires and lower qualities, such as eating, drinking, envy, hatred, anger, and lust. These blemishes are there because the human form has evolved through and out of creation. And in this evolving, all the faults and defects that are in animals are also in the human being. But this is not the whole view. Side by side with these lower qualities, the human being has created in himself certain higher angelic qualities, such as being able to free himself from base desires, and has the attributes of kindness and grace. In an ordinary human being, there is an admixture of almost half and half of the lower animal qualities and the higher angelic ones. Although both must be destroyed before realization, the lower qualities must first vanish. The disappearance of these lower qualities then makes a man capable of further advancement in the angelic ones. Eventually, the angelic qualities are also destroyed, and man becomes one with God. To be a human being does not only mean to be born in a human form with the lower animal qualities still attributed to it. A human form with the animal qualities destroyed and the angelic qualities developed is a real human being. But even that is not a perfect state. Angelic qualities developed to the highest degree still do not make a perfect being. The angels are free from Lord Meher, Volume 4. Okay, and we're still quoting Baba, talking about the human form. I'll go to the top of the paragraph. To be a human being does not mean to be born in a human form with the lowest animal qualities still attributed to it. A human form with the animal qualities destroyed and the angelic qualities developed is a human being, is a real human being. But even that is not a perfect state. Angelic qualities developed to the highest degree still do not make a perfect being. The angels are free from the lower animal qualities and possess higher qualities of godliness, but they have no love, longing, real love for God, which makes one worthy of union. Angels, of course, have love, but it is in their nature, essence. They have what can be called natural love, which makes angels higher than human beings. But being devoid of love for God, angels cannot realize God. For that they must assume human form with these higher qualities developed. In human form alone can they create love for God, qualifying them for the attainment of God realization. Realization of God can never be attained without the human form. Angels must assume one human birth to realize God.
So you think they're born saints? When they're born into the world?
Didn't Baba call, who was it he called them his angels?
Fredella.
Fred, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
they
the
were
Winterfell.
They
Yeah,
were
didn't he?
angels.
Yeah, didn't he say
But
they were
but
angels?
the archangels he also had.
I don't know that.
Like Will and Mary Beckett. But he did have,
So Fred and Ella were angels.
Is that what he said?
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
he said that. I thought
yeah.
somebody
Oh
I know
my
he
God,
said.
this
I
is
don't know.
really enlightening to me. I mean, I never knew this.
But I mean,
I heard that somewhere. I don't know where I heard that. Did you hear
yeah,
too?
all these years,
Yeah, you hear things.
But
you know.
even Will and Mary called them his archangels because they
I
lived
know,
a
I
very
heard that.
unique sort of life. You know,
Wow.
she spun her own clothing. You know what I mean? She made her own. They were very sort of, but they beautiful. You met Fredella, no?
Oh, yes.
Mary
I met him
Queen.
at the center.
You never met
I
them?
met him in Myrtle
Neither one
Beach.
of them.
No.
I met him in the
None of
early
them.
70s.
Oh, really?
Wonderful
They were
people.
So wonderful.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I heard. Yeah.
oh, yeah. But after he died, she just seemed to.
She felt very alone.
Yeah,
They used to, they run their names together, Frelella.
Fredella.
Yeah.
Fredella. They were
Yeah,
so,
they were so
one.
close. Yeah.
But they never had kids. So, but I
Yeah.
can see how
That's
they.
why they're angels, see?
Well, I mean, the angels.
They didn't
don't-
come for kids.
No,
And then
Yeah.
Will and Mary Beckett didn't have kids, did they?
no.
No.
You see?
Yeah,
It's something
they-
to that. I bet you
Yeah.
know who would know? Bao when he comes.
Oh yeah.
We should ask Bao.
Yeah,
Well, there's a
Bauchi.
book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Who are the
yeah,
angels?
yeah.
Because they're usually born, I think, in his circle or close to it, aren't they?
Yeah, and don't they only take one life or something?
That's
one,
right.
one,
Gives them,
If they want
in
to,
other
they
words,
want
in
to.
other words, what you said, the angel is higher than a human, but
Right.
yet they can't realize God.
Unless you
until
take
they
a
come
human
down
Because in
here.
other words, they have all good, don't they?
Right.
But they have to experience being human. in
No,
order
no,
to-
but they have to have love for God. They don't have love for God.
They don't have love for God. They're
They
just
have
all
love.
good.
They have love, but they don't have
They have
love
love
for
they're just love.
They just have love, but not love for
Wow.
God.
That is wonderful, though. Actually,
Yeah.
that's another idea for another like storyline or a play. You write a play, Who Are Baba's Angels?
You know, we should make all these notes because there's some other stories that we came
brilliant.
across.
Well, Mary's making notes. I hope that.
Well, you are too.
Mark
Yeah,
made a
just-
few notes.
The Empress Hotel. The next time, isn't it?
Where I
The Empress
stay.
Hotel. We're all going to look for that.
Yeah. Go to
Probably some third-class hotel.
Well, they probably
Yeah.
have upgraded and
I don't know.
So I never heard that one before.
I have. It's still there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think they refurbished it. You know.
It could be an Indian thing.
But anyway, yeah.
I
But
like,
this
I like
is
when these hotels say Western or Eastern toilets. This is amazing.
Oh, okay. So this is Baba's explanation of humans. Baba then again turned to Ramju and motioned, "Now tell me whether you are a man or an animal." Ramju replied, "It seems that I am part man and part beast, but I do not understand what the natural love of angels is." To appease him, Baba spelled out, "Look how a mother loves her child. She does not have to cultivate her love. This feeling of hers just happens and is natural. But it is not love for God. The same is inborn in angels. Being innate, that is why it is called natural love."
Oh,
So love for God is a very special love,
yes.
you know.
Because in other words, a mother's love for their own is just innate, just like the angel's love.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it 9:30?
Not quite, just about. Few more
I want to read that
minutes.
one page. Want to just make it a goal or finish or it's a
Well,
context? Is there like a
okay, the transition is here. Baba, Padri was appointed to cook the meals, and Chanji was to carry the food to Baba, Rao Saheb, and the boys. The other mandali would come down to the cottages for their meals, except Bua Saheb, Gustaji, and Chanji, who were to be the watchmen and who would have to spend the whole night on the hill. While staying in Hardwan, Baba explained to the mandali about freedom from desires. As long as a person is not free from desires, he is not ready for emancipation. Desires, both good and bad, are binding. Good desires bind a person with golden chains, and bad have iron ones. Why do you feel restless? Because you have thousands of thoughts of wife and children and the world. One should be free of wishes and desires, but they are there. What creates them? What desires these desires? And what thinks these thoughts? The mind. As long as desires persist, there is no freedom. One who is completely desireless becomes king of kings. But a person has no idea how to become desireless. Freedom from desires is real life. One has to go beyond desires to enjoy freedom. This freedom can never be imagined. It is beyond the mind. The mind creates desires, and as long as the mind continues and does not die, a person cannot extricate himself and enjoy freedom. The soul is like a bird. When all desires vanish, the bird's eyes open. It sees God and becomes one with Him. I am that God whom the bird sees when its eyes are open. The desires blind the bird, and it cannot see me, though I am standing right in front of it. Continuing, Baba answered different questions asked by the men. Bliss is something quite distinct from happiness and misery. Happiness and misery are gained through experiences of the mind. Bliss is something totally different. After the death of the mind, what the soul gains through God is bliss. Happiness and misery are due to the mind, while bliss exists on account of the soul. Bliss cannot be described. It cannot be grasped. It is to be experienced. But why is there always suffering and not happiness? One of the mandali asked. You simpleton, I am trying to tell you that there is nothing like suffering. It is the mind that creates pain and misery. In reality, neither happiness nor misery exists. Only bliss is real, which the soul enjoys after emancipation. So to attain emancipation, first destroy the mind. First free yourself and then enjoy bliss. Become one. Merge with the bliss. What is the meaning of God realization? It means to become one with God. By thinking and imagining, one can never become one with God. Union is possible only after the death of thoughts and imagination. The mind must die. How does a person know that he has realized God? It is automatic. You are a human being. Do you ever think to yourself, am I a human being? You do not ask yourself this because you are a human being. In the same way, once a man realizes God, he spontaneously knows that he is God, and he has the full experience of it by personal experience. I think I should go on here because being in the mood, Baba continued answering questions. Actually, I have to start a new job tomorrow, which is probably why I wanted, but we'll finish this because I was in the mood. The difference between God and man is more than between heaven and earth. Man is bound by cravings and desires. You eat and drink, and whatever you do binds you. I eat and drink, but I am quite free. Animals also eat and drink, but so do men. Is there no difference between you and animals? There is a vast difference. Similarly, there is a vast difference between you and me. You are humans, I am God. I mean, this is like in the early days. I mean, to have been there and to hear Baba just talking like this.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, he really was so open about it, and for them to be, I wonder whether they believed him or not, because they still fought with him, And yet he's just saying, I am God, and over and over he will, in different ways, let them know.
It's so hard to realize that. I mean,
because he's young, and
the ego's so strong.
yeah, but he's so patient with everyone, A man has full faith in me today and sticks to me. But if tomorrow his thoughts change and he goes against my wishes and orders, becomes a turncoat, slanders and forsakes all faith in me, still I will be as I am. The change has taken place in him, not in me. I am always changeless. I am ever equable. For instance, look into a mirror. It will reflect you as you are. If you are serious, you will look serious in the mirror. If you are smiling, you will be seen smiling. If you contort your features, you will be seen with your face contorted. If you laugh, you will be seen laughing. The difference will be in you, not in the mirror. There is no change in the mirror. The change is in your facial expressions. The mirror is changeless, immovable, and always steady. I too am like the mirror. The change you observe is in you, not in me. I am always so constant and still it cannot be imagined. We have discussed enough. Now listen carefully. You never do as I say. Try to listen attentively this time. Today is the 4th of August, and my work will start from today. So do not bother me with your difficulties of cooking, sleeping, or any other problems. You manage everything yourselves. And I think that's where it'll end. Huh? Let's see. Okay, so that's put the marker. Sure. We will begin on page 1192.
Okay.
Begin.
MeherBabaLibrary.
Jai.
Thank you, Baba.
Jai Baba. Thanks, Baba.
Jai Baba. Everybody, here we are. The beautiful cricket in the background. It's the Lord Meher night, Tuesday. It's April 28th. Rooms begin at 100, 200. I didn't, I can like that. Says, I give you the linen room for $50. he put a temporary, you know how they have folded beds?
Yes.
In the linen room. And there's no toilet.
Oh.
It was just, he says, in the morning when they come for linen, you better be out of here by whatever, 7 or 8 o'clock.
Right.
So, but I slept in this linen room.
And you told, did you fit out the
And I don't doubt he pocketed the money, because, you know, that's not, but he said, because I pleaded with him, because earlier that day, Pandit had ardently requested Baba's darshan. Baba called him and observed, his heart is pure. He is clever and innocent. Baba inquired of Pandit if he wished to ask him anything. No, sir. Not now, the boy said. I will come back some other time. All right. Come within half an hour or 1 hour, but do come back. Baba motioned. But instead of leaving, Pandit sat down. Baba then asked, do you want to finish school? Do you want a job? Do you want mukti? And there's a footnote on mukti for those that may not be aware of what mukti is. Page 1192. And mukti means freedom from rebirth. I want devotion to God, exclaimed Pandit. This is the best choice, replied Baba. I will give it to you. Don't think about it. Pandit then touched Baba's feet, and while departing said that he would come back. Many came for Baba's darshan that day, but granting it to only a few, Baba directed the mandali to tell the others he could not see them and they were to leave. On August 5th, another telegram from Rustam was received informing Baba that Kairushu Masa's whereabouts were now unknown. A reply was dispatched to Nasik urging Rustam to find Masa. Later that day, Baba disclosed, I have decided to be in seclusion here in Harvan for 40 days, so be prepared. Make sure you buy sufficient supplies to last that long. On the morning of August 6th, Baba went up the hill at 9 to inspect the work with Rao Sahib, Ramju, and the boys. The hut was almost completed, and preparations were made for Baba to sit in seclusion from the next day. The hut was very small. It was only one narrow room with just sufficient space for Baba to lie down. The roof jutted out on both sides, forming a shelter for the two mandali who were to keep constant watch outside. Baba intended to lock himself inside the hut. The area surrounding the hut was a known tiger haunt, and Chanji told Baba that he had heard in the village that there was danger of their being attacked. Baba replied, Don't be afraid, I am here. At the most, what will the tiger do? He will eat you. But your living will then be worthwhile, since you sacrificed your life while serving me. Before going up the hill and entering seclusion on August 7th, the following orders were issued by Baba. No one should take Baba's darshan or touch him from today. No one should come near Baba's hut except Gustaji and Busaheb, who will keep watch near the hut. Ramju should go to them with the mail and telegrams. After delivering them, he should go back down. Only Gustaji and Busaheb can answer when Baba calls. No one should touch Abdullah. He will be with Baba inside the hut, but will come down for his food and tea. No one should speak with the boys Aga Ali and Ali Akbar, nor touch them or have any connection with them. No one should go to the boys' cottage, and the boys should not visit the mandali's cottage. Only Chanji is allowed to carry Baba's messages to the mandali. He is ordered to fetch meals for Baba, Rosahib, and the boys, and take the empty vessels back. Baba then remarked about the nature of this seclusion. God is within and without, manifest. He is both. The situation here is the same. Two, myself and Abdullah, are inside in seclusion, or within, and two, Gustaji and Busaheb, are outside. This means half within and half without.
It's so amazing because, Gustaji represented Baba's dark side.
Was it Gustaji?
Gustaji.
Wow.
But isn't it, that Baba
Baba wanted him.
Always wanted him close to him.
Close.
Yeah.
Looking out at the landscape, Baba then revealed, the place where I have chosen to remain in seclusion is connected with Jesus Christ. His body is buried in a cave near here. In the afternoon, after giving the mandali certain other instructions, Baba had the orders which he had given to the mandali in the morning read out to the boys. Afterward, Baba explained the value of his touch to the group. At first I stopped speaking. Then I ceased writing. And now I don't touch money. In spite of all this, I have permitted numerous people to take my darshan and have willingly and lovingly embraced them also. I was repeatedly informing you all to make the most of this opportunity while touching is allowed. I was allowing you to massage me, to press my feet, take darshan and have my embrace. Thus, in any and every way, you were having my touch. This physical touch is priceless, and I had also warned you that afterward you would not have the benefit of it. You will have to cry for it.
Wow.
Only then will you grasp the importance of this touch and appreciate its value.
He was so accessible, and people really didn't know the precious.
I know it. They probably, how human nature is. It's just another, human being. You know what I mean?
Well, he's so young still.
Exactly. Exactly. It's
you
19.
Don't know.
He didn't know what they had.
And then if you hear Katie now, she says, "We miss those days. We miss those days."
Remember what you said? Erich sort of said the same thing in the video. Remember Baba told him to kiss.
Yes. Kiss me and tell me you love me.
And he thought that it was like an old man trying to get affection.
Yes. I missed the opportunity. To tell him I love him and to kiss him with love. Instead Baba would get angry. He says, do it properly. Kiss me properly and tell me you love me. You see, and that's what he said he missed. He missed doing that. Having that opportunity to kiss Baba and say, I love you.
He didn't do it right.
He didn't do
it.
He did it. You know what I mean? It should have come from his heart.
I know he said he did mechanically because he was thinking in his mind, this old man needs this affection, so I'll give it to him. But
now that he's gone, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
But somebody does it to everybody that he meets now. He says, because that's grown into a tree. This is the love that he gives to everyone. It's the love he wishes he could give to Baba.
I see. The love he wished he could give to Baba. He gives to the Western, the pilgrims.
Everyone. Just anyone.
East and West.
Yeah. Wow.
You will have to cry for it. Only then will you grasp the importance of this touch and appreciate its value. So take advantage of it while there is still time, before it is too late to lament. Some heeded me and benefited at the time, but most let the opportunity slip through their fingers. It's almost what you just said.
Yeah.
Now the time has changed. For 40 days there will be no touch, and there is no telling whether it will be resumed hereafter or not. It may or may not be. If I decide, I may eat, drink, bathe, and permit you to comb my hair. But if not, I may give up everything to such an extent that I will get rid of my clothes and remain only in my LANGOTI. And if I do so wish, I may discard that also and remain quite naked even in public. If the latter happens, there will be no permission at all for touch.
This is almost just like Erich, what's happening here. Pointing to Aga Ali, who wanted to embrace Baba and had wept about it the past night. Baba stated, when you had the chance to touch me and I was embracing and kissing you, you put on airs and were coquettish and thereby lost the chance.
You see? Oh, no. That's almost like...
It's just,
Wow, it's almost exactly
now, what is the use of crying? If you neglected the opportunity and were hesitant when embracing when allowed, there is no use crying now.
He's saying this to
Agar Ali.
And he's a young boy.
Yeah, but after all, what is there in touch? Wow. Inner love has nothing to do with the outer body. If you have that feeling and love, it is enough. It is quite sufficient. My dear children, you boys may remain near me, a privilege not permitted these days to any of the mandali. Thus, remaining around me now, you have the freedom to either dig the cave you intend carving out near my hut as a sign of perpetual remembrance for posterity, or you may sit here or walk around the area. See, it's like saying, there's an opportunity here for you to, for posterity. If I'm in the mood, I may call you, Ali, to play the phonograph, which will be my whole and soul life there in the hut. At times I may even ask you, Ali, to make tea for me. For the last 2 days you have seen me prepare tea for everyone and cook the meal yesterday. Abdullah has no work to do except to stay with me. He will leave only for his tea and meals, otherwise he will remain by my side day and night. He will have no duty, nor will he have my touch, but he will remain with me inside the hut. This is for his benefit, and no one should salute him or touch him either. I will mostly rest during the daytime inside the hut and do my work at night. No one should come to take my darshan, even from a distance. If I send for anyone at all for my work, he should be careful not to touch me. Continuing, Baba explained, why no touch? There is some great purpose behind it. It is said, to be a lover is not easy, yet it is more difficult to become the beloved. I should say most difficult. Many can become lovers, but very, very few, almost none, can become the beloved. The reason is that a lover gives up his body, mind, spirit, soul, in short, his very life for the beloved, who is not an ordinary common beloved. Kutub is no ordinary being and beloved. He is the knower of everything. He can order his lover to do anything at any time, which gives rise to doubts in the mind of the devotee. Such doubts bring about his undoing, and the lover fails the beloved. This tale has been told. Once a murid, a lover or follower, was sleeping by the side of his master, Uktub. After a short time, the murid awakened, and finding the master sleeping soundly, he sat in reverence by his side. All of a sudden, the master had a nocturnal emission and woke up. You know what that is, huh?
Yeah.
Wet dream.
A nocturnal emission.
It's the Baba saying this,
But who, the master?
Had a nocturnal emission, yeah, and woke up. But you always wake up when you have a wet dream. Anyway, to cleanse himself, he went to the river to bathe, quietly returned to his bed and went to sleep again. To the utter amazement of the murid, the master's penis kept emitting continual discharges throughout the night. 75. And
what a story! You never knew this was right there.
And each time he woke up,
And cleaned
went for a bath, and again lay down and fell
it.
asleep.
75.
Wet.
He didn't sleep much.
No, because he's going and cleaning himself each time. Seeing this, doubts assailed the disciple. How could a kutub suffer from wet dreams?
Yeah.
Baba said it. Baba said wet dreams. And so many times. The next morning, the master did not say anything and quietly went to his circle members. There, in the presence of all, including the doubting disciple, he declared he had had as many as 75 nocturnal emissions that night. Hearing this, all were silent in thought. But a clever fellow among them said, Master, because you are connected with everything in the universe, you had these discharges. Likewise, you answer the call of nature because you eat and drink similar to any ordinary man. Thus you also had those emissions since you have connection with your physical body system. It is natural because you have a body in contact, in touch with everything. But the master said, it is not so. These nocturnal emissions did not happen due to any physical reason, nor because my body has connection with everything. It happened for the benefit of you, my close disciples. Wow. What doubts did this unimportant event raise in your minds? You even doubted my mastership. Had you full faith in me, you would not even think such thoughts. True faith should be rock-like, unwavering. I wanted to test your faith, for I find you lacking in faith despite so many years of my contact. Wow. Baba further elaborated, the love of the beloved is not commonplace or ordinary. His fancy or lahar, whim, his mood and his actions can create in a second doubts in the mind of the lovers. Where there is doubt, there is not love, as doubt and love cannot live together. The lover who has doubts about his master has no love for him. Kalyan and Arjuna were the beloveds of their beloved. They were the beloveds of their beloved masters. Swami Ramdas and Lord Krishna, but Jesus Christ had none.
What he had none?
Jesus had no beloved because his disciples doubted him. Yes.
Wait. What?
He's saying,
Could you read that over?
Okay.
I missed that.
Kalyan and Arjuna were the beloveds of their beloved masters.
Oh, that was of Krishna.
Of Krishna, yeah. The same way that Mehera was the beloved of the beloved. You know what I mean? It's like,
sure.
yes.
Isn't? I mean,
Mehera is the beloved
but
of the
each incarnation has a female counterpart.
Right.
So he's referring just to very much lovers, not just the beloved.
Well, he's just, okay, well, you know Kalyan.
Kalyan, because Krishna had Radha.
Right.
Was to Krishna.
Right, but it's an absolute faith. You see, like Kalyan, you know the story of Kalyan?
No, I do not know.
Can I tell it?
Tell.
Kalyan was the favorite disciple of his master.
His master.
The other disciples were all jealous. They couldn't understand why the master was always nicer to Kalyan than to them. So one day the master decided to test them and to show them. He tied a mango, he wrapped a mango around his knee and said that he was in terrible pain, and that whoever really loved him would have to suck out the poison in this joint. But the thing would be, whoever sucked it would die right away. And all the disciples hesitated except Kalyan, who immediately jumped to save his master's life. Because the master said, if you want to save my life, you have to suck this out. But you will die right away. But Kalyan, without even hesitating, did it right away. And instead of dying, he was tasting mango. Because it was a mango.
So it was through his pants.
It was through his, he had wrapped it. You see, he had...
he wrapped it.
He wrapped
thought
it.
It was just a bud. So he was sucking through the bandage.
Yes, exactly. And instead of finding this pus, he was sucking
juice.
a mango juice. And the master said to the other disciples, now you see why Kalyan is so precious to me. It's because he loves me more than you. He doesn't even... He's ready to die for me.
On the spot.
Who was Kalyan's master?
That's a good question. I have to try to remember, because there's another story when the master said it was night when it was day, and Kalyan he believed it because his master said it was night, even though the sun was out. It was day, but because the master said it was night, he said, "Oh yes, it's night."
What master was it?
I don't know. Baba mentions him in the discourses.
Kalyan a couple times.
We'll have to get his master's name.
Baba would know.
But Baba always mentions Kalyan as that exemplary.
That's a great story.
There's two stories.
The guy literally would have died for his master instantly, because master said, "You suck this.
You have to suck this out." Yes.
And he said, "Yes, okay, I don't care."
Yeah, he didn't even hesitate. He just jumped.
Wow.
Nobody else would.
You had to get, wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't want to die.
We love you, Bo. We love you, Bo. But you know how it is. That's a beautiful story.
Yeah, but you see, in Jesus' case, as you know,
But that's the son and the father.
no, but in Jesus' case, none of the disciples, they wanted to be associated with him when he was being
Tried?
when he was being tried. When he,
Really?
don't you remember all
Well,
of?
they said Peter sort of denied
Well,
him.
Peter, but because
But
Jesus had said, Peter, you will deny me, because Peter claimed that he loved Jesus most.
Oh, but Peter denied him 3 times.
Well, Jesus just said, Peter said, Master, we will never desert you. And Jesus said, you will deny me 3 times before the cock crows. So Jesus was essentially calling him, you know.
And he did it.
And only when he heard the cock crow that he realized that he had done it 3 times. You know what I mean?
But
He professed that he loved
said
him.
the other disciples too of Jesus also sort of
Oh, yes.
turned their back.
Oh,
They were afraid.
exactly.
Because the mob was saying,
Yes.
crucify him. And they,
Weren't you with the Nazarene? No. Yes, they were all, you know, and of course, but Judas had to betray him, you know. But none of them wanted to be associated. I mean, none of them were around.
Judas turned him in?
Well, you know that.
No,
Judas
but I don't
betrayed
know the
him.
exact- I know he betrayed him, but
Yes.
how he betrayed him by telling what? Pilate about him? Or?
Yeah, he said, the one that I kiss will be the one. I'll betray him with a kiss.
Oh, I see. They didn't know who was Jesus.
Who was Jesus? Because they were all these disciples.
They all had beards. They all had heavy hitters, you know.
Yeah.
They all looked
This
like
is
sages.
the one that I kiss.
And so Judas
That's
went
the
up
one.
and kissed him.
Yeah.
And Jesus probably knew what it was about.
Yeah.
Even though Judas
and he even said
pretended.
it right then and there, you know. And then Peter cut off one of the soldiers' ears with his sword. And then Jesus just picked it up and put it back.
And the ears went back on?
Yeah, of course.
Because Jesus didn't want that.
No. But it
He
all
didn't
showed
want
that...
Peter probably to be jailed. Or
No, I mean, I don't think Peter would have been jailed over it, but it just showed that Jesus was at the height of his... You know what I mean? In spite of being at the lowest point, he was at the height, because he just picked the ear up and put it back, and, you know, it was like... That's how powerful he
so
was.
do you know the Christian... I remember studying that years ago. Now it's all coming back.
Oh, I loved it.
So you must have been into that.
Yeah, really.
So, but anyway, this paragraph you're reading.
Yes, it's like Baba is talking about the love of the beloved is not commonplace or ordinary. He's just saying that these disciples don't really love him. And I'm just saying that Baba himself said that Meher loves me like nobody. I'm not saying that she is like the other counterparts. I think that she was unlike the other counterparts in that her love was so supreme. I mean, Baba himself said, without her I cannot live. You know? So she was that important to him. You know, he said, she is my very breath. Without her I cannot live. But whatever Baba felt, she felt. I mean, that's how strong her love was.
But Arjuna is known as Krishna's friend.
Yes. Well, Krishna was his charioteer.
Yeah, but they
He
were
was a
friends.
warrior. Yeah.
And he considered them to be friends.
Yeah.
Not as love or...
No. But in the sense that Arjuna trusted Krishna implicitly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like that implicit trust.
Yeah.
That implicit trust. Because you know Krishna had to fight his own relatives. And he didn't want to fight his own.
And that was in Kauravas.
Yes.
No, but remember that part of
Kurukshetra.
the battle into where Arjuna refused to hit below the knees? And this guy was ready to hurt Arjuna.
Yeah.
So Krishna slammed and broke the guy's kneecaps.
No, I don't know the story.
Yeah, and they all said to him, they said, "Oh, how can you claim to be who you are? You just violated the code of battle. You're not supposed to hit below the belt."
Right.
And he smashed the guy's knees because he knew that was the only way he could stop him from overcoming Arjuna. Because they were in the last stages of the battle.
Right.
And so Krishna came to the aid and breaks this guy's knees, cripples him.
Wow.
And the guy is moaning. He's saying, "Oh, you're a cheat."
Yes. But he was going to do that himself.
And then Krishna said, "I have the right. I make the rules." He said something like that.
Wow.
But it's in the book.
It's exact like that?
Huh?
Yeah, it's like that?
Yeah, it's in the book Battle of Kurukshetra.
Yes.
I remember reading it. It was gripping.
Someone told me that he did something to save him, but he did in such a way that he really did not break what he had said. He had committed that he would never use any weapon.
Krishna.
Yeah, something like this, right?
Yeah, well, he was the charioteer.
Charioteer.
You know, and this was the
And
tough
he would
thing
never
for
kill anybody with
Oh wait, no, he told Arjuna, I think Arjuna hit him below the knees. That's
maybe
yeah,
they
no, that's
Yes,
it.
yes.
He told Arjuna,
Yes.
crush his knees.
Yes.
And Arjuna says, oh, you sure, my lord?
And-
But he says, yes.
Yes.
That's what he did. He
Yeah.
ordered, and Arjuna followed his order.
Yeah, see, that's
Yeah,
the
and then
love.
Arjuna loved him so much he followed his
He just followed, yeah,
And then
yeah.
the guy then claimed,
Yeah, you've broken the laws.
The lowest of the low, you dishonored yourself by, how
Yeah.
can you do that? And then Krishna came back to, I think this was I don't know if it was Duryodhana or one of the heavy hitters on the other side of the family. These are like family members fighting. And I think Krishna basically says, well, I made the laws and I had the right to change them.
Wow.
Because, and so, but that's what it was. Yeah, he had Arjuna do it. And Arjuna didn't want to do it because, Arjuna would rather die.
Yes.
And even
yes.
though
because that's the code.
Arjuna was overcome. And I think the guy was ready to put a spear into Arjuna. And Arjuna had a mace. A ball chain.
Yes.
And so he just smashed the guy's legs.
Wow.
Because that was the only way he could have got him. Because, the guy was ready to come down and it smashed his legs. Because the guy figured Arjuna wouldn't hit him. And
Right.
The guy's crushed and falls to the ground. And that changed the whole battle.
But then with the Prophet Muhammad also, Ali, his chief disciple.
Ali had a temper.
Yes.
Well, Ali.
And the Prophet Muhammad said, never strike in anger. Never strike in anger. You know that story.
I know, but Ali would, did he cut somebody's?
Well, they were challenged. And the enemies of the Prophet, they said, well, we challenge you to a battle, and whoever wins, the strongest fighter from each side, whoever wins, then if Ali wins, we'll follow you. But also they knew of this order of the Prophet that cannot strike in anger. He cannot strike in anger. So they thought, we're going to win. And everybody thought that they would win, you see. So the two of them were fighting. But Ali was certainly the stronger fighter. And he had the upper hand, and he was about to kill the guy when the guy started abusing the Prophet Muhammad. And Ali got so angry, he was going to kill him when he remembered the Prophet's order to him, and he just left the guy and walked away.
The two were fighting each other.
Yeah, because rather than be angry,
he walked away.
He walked away.
Because he was so angry, he would have killed him.
He would have killed him in anger. The Prophet had said, "Don't kill in anger. Don't." Yeah.
So he dropped his sword and walked away.
He just walked away.
Oh man, that's control.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that is amazing.
Well, that's why Ali is quite revered by Muslims.
Oh yeah. There was a sect that followed him. Yes. Sort of like Erich, He's like Erich.
Yes.
That he was the chief disciple. But anyway, so Ramdas was Kalyan's master. Swami
Ramdas.
Oh. Swami Ramdas was Kalyan's master. Yeah. The avatar descends on earth for his beloveds, his real lovers.
He was perfect master at the
Ramdas was.
At the time of...
oh no, Ramdas goes
later.
Back in time.
Oh.
Yeah, he's another era.
Yeah. The avatar descends on earth for his beloveds, his real lovers, and he works for them side by side with his workings for the entire universe. But it is not necessary that all avatars must have a beloved. Prophet Zarathustra lived some 6,000 years ago. His master was a Hebrew. But what the world knows about the religion that came from him is practically nothing. All these Zoroastrian rites, rituals and ceremonies have come down from the Dasturs, Parsi priests, and Zoroaster's followers who began them centuries after his death. For example, those ornaments of the Zoroastrian religion, the Sadra and Kusti, are the outcome of the preaching of the Dasturs centuries after Zarathustra's advent. The Sadra and Kusti have no connection with his teachings. They are nothing but after creations. I am revealing to you the absolute truth. Even though
read
Baba
that
wore
over.
wore the sadra and kusti too,
Oh,
No, can you read over again? That's
The whole
important.
paragraph?
That whole paragraph about the religion.
Yes.
Because I lost that somehow.
Prophet Zoroaster lived some 6,000, Baba says Zarathustra. Zarathustra.
Not Zoroaster.
No, but Zarathustra.
Well, he's called Zoroaster. but
Right, I guess that's the English translation. Prophet Zarathustra lived some 6,000 years ago. His master was a Hebrew.
Wait a minute. So then you're saying Zoroastrianism is a spin-off of Judaism.
No,
no.
it's just that his master was a Hebrew, that's all.
Master was a Hebrew, but
That's
it doesn't
all.
mean Judaism and Christianity came afterward.
That's right, 6,000 years ago.
Yeah,
It's before.
6,000 years
Way
ago.
before.
Way before.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Careful, ready?
Yeah. Moses and Jesus, they were both after Zoroaster.
Oh yeah. But what the world knows about the religion that came from him is practically nothing. All these Zoroastrian rites, rituals and ceremonies have come down from the Dasturs, priests, the Parsi priests. Parsi priests.
So in other words, Zoroaster didn't give those
The
rites and
Kusti,
rituals.
yes.
Those are
From
devised by the...
well, but this you're talking 6,000 plus years ago, Of course it's going to happen,
Yeah, people can't help it. They
Yeah.
devise their own rituals.
And Zarathustra's followers who began them centuries after his death. Centuries after his death. For example, those ornaments of the Zoroastrian religion, the Sadra and Kusti, are the outcome of the preachings of the Dasturs centuries after Zarathustra's advent. Centuries after.
That's mind-boggling.
The Sadra and Kusti have no connection with his teachings.
Oh,
They are nothing but after creations.
oh my, you tell
And
us.
that's in italics.
You go to the fire temple.
Oh man,
in
they'll
Orange
throw you
County,
out.
the
Yeah.
Zoroastrian
And
fire
Baba
temple.
then adds,
They would be upset.
Baba then adds, I am revealing to you the absolute truth. I'm revealing to you the absolute truth. Because, I've been reading Anuvaz's book, and Baba keeps telling them to give up these rites and ceremonies. Because they have like several days, somebody dies.
Oh, yeah.
They have all these things, they have
Yeah.
the
Well, a woman who's in a period
Right,
cannot walk
right.
into the fire
cannot
temple.
touch food also,
Yeah,
it's
she
like,
can be no-
but there's all these things and Baba keeps trying to break them from this,
So, wow, Zoroastrianism is ancient.
Ancient. Wait,
No wonder there's not many left.
listen to this, man. Zarathustra was the greatest Sufi. He was the father of Sufism, and his very foundation owes its creation to him. I dig that, huh? Sufism began with Zarathustra and ended with Muhammad.
Oh, I see.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing that it began?
Repeat the sentence again.
Yeah, I'll give the whole thing. Zarathustra was the greatest Sufi. Phew, that's amazing. The greatest Sufi. He was the father of Sufism. And its very foundation owes its creation to him. I mean, this is something that nobody has ever
I
known.
never knew that. No, but
Sufism began with Zarathustra and ended with Muhammad.
but if it ended with Mohammed, then
What
Sufism
about-
reoriented? Is that allowed?
Well, I think
or
Baba-
is that just Baba's own?
Has
he calls it
reinfused
reoriented.
it. Yeah, I think Baba
But can you
reinfused
explain to
it.
me what's a Sufi though? Why did he call Zoroaster a Sufi? I know the traditions of Mohammed are the.
It's because it's the
Muslim
path of love. It's the mystical path of love and knowledge to God. It's the mystical path of love and knowledge to God.
Sufism?
Sufism. Yeah. You see, this is where, Hafiz is a great Sufi. It's a mystical path.
I see.
You see what I'm saying? There is
One
no
is-
Sufi religion. It's
I
a
see.
Sufi, it's like a...
It's a way.
Exactly.
It's a way
exactly.
of mystical,
Exactly.
mysticism.
Exactly.
And like Hafiz was very camouflaged in his writings. He
Yes.
wrote about
Yes.
a woman and roses, but he was writing about his beloved.
Exactly.
But he had to camouflage
Exactly.
it, otherwise they'd call him a
Exactly.
heretic. Or
Yes. Yes. It's the mystical path of love to God.
So Zoroaster must have did the same then.
Well, he says he was the first and the greatest. If you hear the stories of Zoroaster, though, they're pretty amazing.
There must be more works about him. I'm interested now in finding more.
Well, for instance,
there's nothing about
well,
him.
did you know that when he was born, when the doctor slapped him, he laughed?
Doctors, what do?
When he was born, the doctor slapped him.
Zoroaster.
The baby, you know, when you are
Slap you
born,
behind.
on the behind, they slap you.
Yeah, wake up, like.
You know what I mean? They do that to get you to cry,
Yeah.
to get
You're
the baby
alive.
to breathe
Yeah.
and to show
Yeah.
you're alive.
Yeah.
So they hold you upside down and they hit you on the behind.
Ah.
You didn't know that.
They
And then the
still do
baby
it?
cried. Well,
Now.
oh yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, they do that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It's
it's-
a tradition because the doctor wants to make sure the baby's vital.
It's alive, yeah.
He's
But
breathing and crying.
yes, you see, but it causes you to breathe. It
Yeah,
causes you to.
yeah.
The pain is like a shock,
Yeah.
and the baby and cries. You know, yeah. You see, and they say, oh, he's healthy.
And then
He's
they go,
healthy.
"Oh, that's
and they,
sweet,"
oh,
and they-
yeah, you know, big voice,
Yeah.
and he's breathing. You see, it starts. He's breathing. You see, because babies don't breathe.
So when they hit Zoroaster,
He laughed,
Oh,
and
I
the
see.
doctor said, no baby has ever laughed.